Hey Flosstube, it's Darlene from Darlene Dion Designs. I am coming at you today with a Flosstube extra, if you will. I've been wanting to do this for a while, where I show you all of my pattern samples. So I am, like I said, Darlene Dion Designs. I sell and I design and sell quilting and cross stitch patterns in my Etsy shop. So you can find me on Etsy, on Facebook, here on YouTube, and on Instagram as Darlene Dion Designs. I'm on Canada's East Coast in Nova Scotia, and I've been stitching most of my life. If you're new here, you won't know the details, but my story is very much like everyone else's. I stitched when I was younger, teenager, and then it kind of came and went over several years. During COVID, I picked it up definitely strong, and and then about a year after, in 2021, I decided to try publishing some of my own cross stitch patterns because I had previously done my quilting patterns and did well with that, so decided to try it with cross stitch. So I've been doing Flosstube for about 2.5 years, close to 2.5 years. And I really enjoy doing it, but I don't do it as often as I would like. I have internet issues here, which is supposed to be solved this fall. Fingers crossed, we'll see. Anyway, that's another story. So I'm going to jump right in and tell you about all of my cross stitch pieces. I'm not going to know all of the fabrics or the counts, but I'll do the best I can. And then I'll do a little bit of life at the end. So anyway, my first one is Keep Life Simple. And I designed this one during COVID, when I was home during COVID. I worked in a bank, and I have some medical history, so my doctor suggested that I stay home for a while. I figured I'd be home for 3 weeks. 3 months in, I decided, let's get this publishing going, because I had been complaining for years that I didn't have time to do it. So I got heavy with the quilting patterns, and at that point I decided not to go back to work at the bank. And then, like I said, a year into COVID, I decided to try the cross stitch patterns too. So now I have 32 cross stitch patterns, and I think it's 22 quilting patterns. Anyway, so Keep Life Simple. This is definitely a favorite. I love it. I love everything about it. The colors, the little house. I love little houses. This is 28 count tea-dyed Monaco, I'm pretty sure, over 2 threads. And this is all DMCs. I have not designed anything, I don't think, with overdyes, but I'm just now thinking I'm going to do that. So Keep Life Simple. And like I said, all of these are available as PDFs in my Etsy shop. The link for the Etsy shop is in the show notes below. I'm trying to do these in order, and I have got a mess around me, let me tell you. So hopefully nothing crashes. This one is You Got a Friend in Me, EWE, You Got a Friend in Me. And this one I definitely designed and stitched during the very first part of COVID. So many changes had come about in cross stitch when I picked it up then. Beautiful new fabrics, overdyed flosses, just beautiful. So many new patterns and designers, and just, oh my, it's amazing how cross stitch has made a huge comeback, and with that, all these beautiful new supplies. So You Got a Friend in Me. This one is stitched on Lugana. I think it's tea-dyed Lugana, and I'm pretty sure it's 28 count, but it looks pretty small. It might be 32 count, actually. That was so fun, and such a quick little stitch. Little sheep there. Okay, Home Sweet Home. Again, as a result of COVID. This is finished on a dollar store board. And again, it is Monaco 28 count tea-dyed Monaco. That's what I had in the house during COVID, so that's what I used. I had a lot of Monaco that I was able to dye myself, and because we weren't able to get out, that's what we weren't able to shop much. That's what. And again, this one is such a quick, fun little stitch, just so quick to finish up. I mean, a day, if it would take to stitch this one. Home sweet home. It's my favorite place to be. COVID didn't hurt my feelings as far as making me stay home. Okay, this is my second attempt at this today, so I don't know what I've told you and what I haven't told you. Shore Signs of Spring. I had seen so many people designing series that I wanted to try that. So this was my first one in this series. Shore Signs. Got my little threads messed up there. Anyway, Shore Signs of Spring with the bunny and the bird, flowers. This one is on 28 count Lugana. I'm pretty sure it's mushroom. My sister had a big old piece of that in her stash, so we both cut off of that several times during COVID. Love Grows Best. This is a favorite. I really love it. I love the colors. I love the house. Yeah, love grows best in little houses. We lived in a tiny little house when we first got married, and we did okay. We didn't kill each other. Anyway, and that is 28 count. That actually looks like it could be 25 count Lugana, and I would say it's tea-dyed. But it might be mushroom. It looks a little dark, but it doesn't look mottled like tea dyeing, so anyway. Like I said, they're all available as PDFs in my Etsy shop. Little Red Schoolhouse. This, I love this one. If you've been around here a while, you know my favorite color is red. So this was a lot of fun. This sits on a little easel in my kitchen pretty much year round. But if you're doing if I'm doing a Christmas display or a Valentine's Day display or a Canada Day display, I don't know if I said I did once, I'm on Canada's East Coast in Nova Scotia. This red and white is perfect to go with so many seasons for me. Anyway, that little traditional quilted schoolhouse. Love it. Little Red Schoolhouse. Aunt Lenny's Berry Basket. I have an old blue, navy blue wicker basket. It's not wicker. Yeah. No, I don't think it's wicker. It's some kind of, I don't know what the word would be. Anyway, that I inherited from my Aunt Lenny. And she was very dear to my heart. She was a crafter and a sewer and a knitter, and we had a lot in common. And I have that little basket filled with cross-stitch project bags. All of my kits or all of my whips are in that bag over beside my stitching area. And I wanted to do something to honor her. So this is Aunt Lenny's Berry Basket. All the beautiful strawberries in that blue, big old blue basket. Anyway, blossoms and berries. When I first started doing patterns, I did a lot of little pillows, and I'm still doing pillows, but I think I did more than what I've done lately. But they are a lot of fun to make and stitch up, and there's so many great tutorials out there that you can watch to put a blue fabric on the back. But yeah, get yourself into YouTube or Vonna Pfeiffer's YouTube or can't remember the other lady's name, but they're really great at showing finishing techniques. So Aunt Lenny's Berry Basket. Someday on quilts. Being a quilter, it was inevitable that I would, end up with quilting and cross stitch mixed. So this one is, I just love this one so much with the quilts on the line. This Trip Around the World or Sunshine and Shadow quilt is just scraps of pieces of floss that I had left over. Yeah, you could use any color you want. I do have them charted with colors, but you could use whatever you have small bits of thread left on a bobbin to do that. So easy to use up pieces. Anyway, and that alphabet, I do love stitching letters and alphabets, so they stitch up so quickly. Anyway, and a lot of these are finished on sticky board and foam board, and again, it was during COVID. Some of them are finished on cardboard because that's what I had in the house until I realized that I could order sticky board online. So anyway, that one, what did I say? Someday on quilts. That is a Newfoundland term, which if I understand right, means it's a beautiful day to hang your quilts on the line. Deanne, is that right? Many of you maybe have watched Deanne Stitching on the Rocks. Stitching on the Rock. She's in St. John's, Newfoundland. Home is where your honey is. Had to get in on the bee craze. I really love this one too. Anyway. Those little bees. Lots of fun stitching them. Pretty easy. None of my designs are complicated by any means. They're easy to stitch, and my patterns are color. You can print them in color, and I find them pretty easy to stitch from. I've never had any complaints about not being able to see them, so I guess it must be okay. And a lot of them I have finished in a frame that I happen to have in the house. I think only one I went out and bought an actual frame specifically for it. After I got into Flosstube and started watching Stitching with the Housewives and so many Flosstubers, I realized I didn't have to frame everything. And so that made a big difference in what I was able to finish myself. So I've learned to frame more now, to lace and frame myself, but at the beginning I did a lot of pillows and a lot of board finishes because it was convenient and easy to do. My friend Walter is a little pillow that I made to match a quilt that I thought I would bring up here to show you the quilt too, but I forgot to pick that up out of the basket. Anyway, this is my friend Walter, and he is a companion to my friend Wilbur. That's the quilt. And this is a really fun little stitch. I don't love stitching white, but this one stitched up fairly quickly and not too bad. So, and I just finished it with some gray fabric on the back, and I put a little bit of chenille yarn around the outside for trim. There's no local needlework store here. About 7 hours away is my closest one. And so if I can pick up yarn at Walmart that's going to do the trick, that's what I'm going to do. So, my friend Walter. All is Calm. This was my first Christmas one I did last year. Or well, I guess it's a year and a half ago now, but I'm a winter girl. I love snow. I love winter. I love the cold when I'm inside. I love winter. Anyway, it is hot and humid here today, and I am ready for snow. Anyway, yeah, I'm a winter girl. You will see from my posts and from my designs that I do like my winter things. So this one was a different one. I just used a regular 5x7 frame. I put the design in there, and then I added this row of pom-poms just glued in there, which was a really easy way to put the pom-poms on. So you'll see that that is just a row of like a pom-pom. I bought it on a spool at Winners, actually. I guess it would be some kind of yarn trim or whatever, but very quick, easy stitch again. Most of them, like I said, most of them are pretty quick and easy to stitch. Gracie Gardner is my little tomato gardener. And I found this little house at a little thrift type store here in the Annapolis Valley. And yeah, so this is a fun one to stitch. I'm not much of a gardener. I like to garden, and I don't have much of a green thumb, but I can grow tomatoes. Oh dear. And recently I have gone crazy with my African violets in the house. I don't know. Typically, like, my friends say, wow, you grew that. But yeah, I can grow tomatoes. So again, the alphabet with Gracie Gardner with her tomatoes. I've never grown any that big. By the Wildwood. This is a favorite. I grew up in a little country church on the side of the road, and I remember singing this song lots when I was a little girl. One of my favorites. And there's a church in the valley by the Wildwood. So I had so many comments about this one when I first released it. You know, people would say, oh my goodness, I got married in the little church by the Wildwood, or my parents took me to church every week in the little church by the Wildwood. Just so many wonderful, cute comments. I loved stitching this one and hearing what you had to say about it. So definitely a favorite. And this little wooden tree button seemed appropriate for the wooded areas. Oh, I forgot to tell you what these were stitched on. This one is stitched on 28 count, I think it's ale. Picture this plus ale. Yeah, it might be brash. Brass or brash. I can't remember, but it's either ale or brash. I'm not sure. I could look it up for you if you really needed to know. The second one in my Shore Signs series was Shore Signs of Summer. The bee, the hive, that Canadian flag, and in the pattern for this one there's also a US flag. Also, if you follow Yasmin's Made with Love, her Flosstube or Instagram, she's done it in several other flags. I know she did a Polish, she's Polish, so she did a Polish flag. She lives in London, so she did the British flag. I can't remember what the name of it is. Anyway, yeah, so it's a straight on, you know, there's no curves, there's no blowing, so it's pretty easy to adapt to whatever flag you want it to be. So anyway, I will say with that one, I think it was my first one with a Canadian flag, and it's not something that we see enough of in Canada. Definitely more now than what we did a few years ago, but I'm trying to do my part to help get more Canadian designs out there. So you'll see a few more. Which leads me into Celebrate Canada. Again, this one's on a board, and I haven't attached it to anything. I'll probably find a white frame to put it in, but the summer flag, celebrate, 1867 was our Confederation. Parades, I'm trying to read backwards here. True patriot love from our anthem, O Canada, which is our anthem. Fireworks, July 1st is Canada Day. Home, we're free. And then Canada Day with the bunting at the bottom. Our beautiful flag. And maple leaf. Anyway, that one is stitched on 32 count Lugana. I never get I think it's like Pebble, or I know it starts with P. It's either Pebble or Putty. I can't remember which. Anyway, that one's a quick stitch. True Patriot Love is the one that I can't put my hands on right now. So I have a picture of it for you here on my iPad. And that again is a line from our anthem, O Canada. So, and that one I put in an antique frame. The nicest word. Home is the nicest word. That's a line, that's a quote from Laura Ingalls Wilder, if I understand it right. Not Laura Ingalls from Little House on the Prairie, but the author from Little House on the Prairie. And this one is finished on a, it's got this little pocket thing, and I filled it with some greens, and it's got a stand, an easel stand, so you can, but it's flat on the bottom, so it'll stand up on its own. I got this at, pretty sure I got this at that same thrift type store in the valley, Bargain Harley's. Anyway, lots of flowers and that big red tree, big red house. This is a popular one. I like it very much. That big red house, gotta have my red. Four Seasons, again, is one that my bow needs to be glued back on, I guess. I had done a quilt called Four Seasons, which was the same verse and the same layout, the same basic idea. So, winter, spring, summer, fall, the Lord above made them all. So you have your snowman and snow for winter, a little bit of rain and birds and flowers and bunnies for spring, the flag and lupins for summer, and the moon and the pumpkins for fall. And I can't remember, but I feel like I did an American flag for this one too. I'd have to check. I feel like I did, and that it's included in the pattern, but don't quote me on that. It would be listed in the, definitely needs to be re-glued. It would be listed in the details of the pattern if you're interested in it, so, on Etsy. Shore Signs of Autumn, my third one in the series, with pumpkins, and I wanted to do some odd color pumpkins. Got a thread hanging there. A crow, some sunflowers. That bow is gone. Crazy. Anyway. Pretty simple, easy little stitch. All of those Four Seasons ones those Shore Signs are really easy to stitch. Happy Harvest was a little pillow that I released last fall. And when I first put it out, I put it out at a very reduced special price. And many of you snapped that up. Some of you are stitching it this year. This is on, I keep forgetting to tell you the fabrics. This is on 28 count Monaco tea-dyed fabric. Very easy, quick little stitch, but lots of fun, really cute. Looks great in your tier trays or in your dough bowls. So, happy harvest. Definitely 'tis the season. These next two I did as a set, but they are sold individually in the shop. Let's Stay Home, my love for home reflected again. And this is in a 4x6 frame. It fits perfectly in a 4x6 frame on, I'm pretty sure it's 28 count Monaco, but again, don't quote me on that. I think it would say it in the details. And then It's So Good to Be Home. This one keeps flopping out. It needs to be. It's just in there so that I can take it out and reuse it if I want to, but it's so good to be home with that little heart-shaped smoke coming out of the chimney. Tall, skinny house. There is no place like home, I'll tell you. There's no place I'd rather be. Spent this weekend at my daughter's. My husband and I did, and couldn't wait to get home. Remind me, don't go there in the summer. It's too hot there. Oh my. And it was such a hot day on Friday when we went. It was the hottest day we've had probably all summer. Anyway, a little bit for me. A bit much. Lim Jim. Where is he? There he is. This is one I put out last fall. Wanted to do a tiny little sampler pillow with an owl. So this is Lim Jim, all stitched in 310. Very simple, quick little stitch, simple border. Just put some black and cream fabric on the back. Again, a very easy little pillow finish that watch yourself a tutorial, and so easy to finish. You could put some black trim around there too. This one last winter when it came out was very popular, and it has stayed popular ever since. I heard the bells. Can't get it all in. I heard the bells on Christmas Day. O Tannenbaum, O Tannenbaum. Silent Night with the town of Bethlehem there. Joy to the world. Away in a manger. And Oh Come All Ye Faithful. Some of my very favorite Christmas carols. I love to sing. I love Christmas. I love the carols. And I hummed and sang and whistled up a storm while I was stitching this. Oh dear. Again, it's a very popular one. It's finished on a piece of foam board with sticky board, and a really simple, easy way to finish things. It would look really great on a shutter. I have not found one, but I haven't actually gone looking, and I really should, because it would look great on a shutter. And that is stitched, I think, on I think it's 28 count Lagana. I was going to say 25, but I think it's 28. Last winter, I wanted to do something different for Santa. I wanted to do a Santa, or a Mr. or Mrs. Santa. And I really love the American Gothic painting that has been very popular over the years. I should have had a picture of it here. It's an old stern farmer and his wife, and he's holding up a fork and she's standing beside him. So I wanted to do that for a Santa. And you can't make a Santa with a stern face. So that's my Polar Gothic for Mr. and Mrs. Santa's take on American Gothic. Anyway, whoops. Simple red and white pom-poms around the outside with a little bit of greenery and a snowflake button. Very easy finish, like I said. That is stitched on, it's one of the first things I stitched on I think it's 36 count linen, and I'm pretty sure it's either Paper Bark by Fox and the Rabbit or Duxbury. I'm not sure which it is, but anyway, that was pretty fun to do. And thank you to finally a farm girl, Chrissy. She helped me come up with the name. I was trying to use that American Gothic. I didn't know if I wanted it to be Northern Gothic or what, and she suggested Polar Gothic. So perfect. Thank you, Chrissy. Shore Signs of Winter is the last one in my Shore Signs series. So a little snowman with a planter full of greenery and red berries. So snowflakes. They were all finished with that same lace and a flower at the top. So that was fun. Now this one I stitched in the winter. Really loved this. Again, it's stitched on 36 count linen, and I'm pretty sure this is Paper Bark by Fox and Rabbit. When I had my quilt shop, I was involved in the row by row shop hop thing that they used to do every summer. And one summer, the theme was travel, and I designed a row that was, similar to this. It had several buildings, and there was 2 cars coming, one from each direction, where they were going to meet at the quilt shop. Well, this one is the Stitchy Shop. So here, we have, I don't know if I can read it and show you at the same time. No, I can't. So this is a gift shop. It says gifts on the sign. This one is just a home. This one says Stitchy Shop. This one is a cafe. And this one is a bookstore. This is a Jeep. And this is a Trax SUV. Oh dear. Anyway, it's really fun. I stitched this over 1/2. And again, it's all DMC colors. Really fun stitch to do. All roads lead to the Stitchy Shop, which, like I said, there's not one nearby, about 7 hours away from me. So much snow. Like I said, I'm a winter girl. I love snow. This is just a 5x7 frame, kind of like a shadow frame almost. And I have a sign that hangs in my house in the winter that says pretty much this: snowflakes, snowballs, snowmen, snowfall. So, and I just finished it with some greenery and a bow and some white berries. Anyway, lots of snow. And this was stitched on 36 count. I'm not sure what the color is. Ale, maybe. Might be ale. I did a set of 3 little pillows not too terribly long ago, and they're hard to hold up all together. Be the Good. The set is called Be the Good. If you're going into the Etsy shop to look for them, they're called Be the Good. Create joy and choose happy. I think that's the secret to life. All of those together. It's all about the choices we make. So, very simple little finishes. This one just has a little bit of rickrack around the outside. These are Lori Holt buttons. I just chose the yellow buttons from her little bag of buttons. A little bit of rusty red ribbon. Simple little finish. And 3 more. This one, this spring I came out with this one, 10 karat gold, and it's been very popular. I love those carrots in every color and variety. Anyway, This one's got a little chevron pattern going, stripes, checkers. That was really fun. Really, really, really fun to stitch. If you like orange, you'll love choosing all these different oranges to work with. Anyway, 10 karat gold. It's got some cool orange mottled fabric or speckled fabric and a tiny orange rickrack around the outside. Again, finish that as a pillow. You could easily frame it or whatever. With Glowing Hearts was a Canadian design I did this year. With Glowing Hearts, we see thee rise. Again, a line from our anthem. 2 little houses. Big old flag. That beautiful maple leaf. With Glowing Hearts, we see thee rise. And my last one, a very simple little stitch. Pray big, worry little. I come from a long line of warriors, but also a long line of prayer warriors. Oh dear, I believe in prayer, and nothing calms my worries better than a prayer to my Savior. Again, just a simple pillow finish. Nice grayish and blue fabric for the back with that white chenille around the outside. This is I think it's 32 count Lugana, and it's Picture This Plus Legacy, I think is the color. Very simple stitch, just 3 colors, DMC floss. So that's my line of patterns that are available right now. I am working on a new one right now, a sampler. I had hoped to have it out by now, but just hasn't happened. Being sampler September, I hope to have it out before the end of September, but it's just a crazy, it's a kind of a crazy month and a crazy fall coming up for me. This starting tomorrow, well, actually starting Wednesday, I'm involved in a quilt show locally. I'm helping with that, helping to organize, and tomorrow we take the quilts in and set up. So that's for the rest of this week. I'll be busy with that. Then the next week I have a 3-day retreat for our quilting retreat for our guild. Then I'm pretty good for a couple of weeks. Then we have our Thanksgiving here. And I'm going to be, the week after Thanksgiving, I'm going to be teaching at the Nova Scotia Fiber Fest, which is held annually in Amherst, in the town of Amherst, which is about 5.5 hours away from us probably. And I always love going to that. It's a wonderful festival. If you are in the area and are able to take it in, you really should check it out. It's a wonderful festival. And it's all different types of fiber: quilting, knitting, any kind of knitting, crocheting, craft. Rug hooking is very popular there. Felting. I'm teaching. Should have had it here. I'm teaching a wool applique pin cushion. A wool crazy. I've shown it in previous Flosstubes, and it's on my Instagram if you want to look at it. There is still a little space left in the class. We had to have a couple cancellations, but there was space anyway. So we have a really big classroom that was made available to us. So I have space. I have enough to make a few more kits. So if you're interested, you can check that out on the Nova Scotia Fiber Festival website. I'll have the link below. And then after that, I'm doing, the last week of October, I'm doing a 2-day class at a local friend's retreat. So, yeah, between now and Thanksgiving, I'm pretty busy between shows, retreats, and getting kits ready for classes. Yeah, it's just kind of crazy. I'll be surprised if I can get that new sampler out by the end of the month, but it'll be awesome if I can. But most of my evenings I stitch. During the day I do other things. I mean, like quilting and kitting and stuff like that. Yeah. Life is good. COVID is around a little bit. Friends of ours have had it, and especially people that we know who have been traveling recently have had some. I hope we don't get it again, but I'm not concerned about it. It doesn't seem to be severe, definitely, as it was years ago at the beginning, which is a good thing. Hopefully it stays that way. It's part of life now. I guess it's just something we have to learn to live with. The weather is hot and humid for the past few days, really hot and humid. I'm ready for fall. I love fall. I love everything about it. The cool weather, the shorter days, the leaves, the colors, everything. But yeah, it's this weekend. Well, I shouldn't say this weekend. Well, it is Monday, yes. We are watching Hurricane Lee. There is a very good possibility that Hurricane Lee is going to come ashore somewhere in Nova Scotia. We've been watching the forecasts and checking the models every day, and yeah, it's looking like, at this point, it's looking like Nova Scotia could be going to be definitely affected by it. So we're paying attention to that to see what that brings for the weekend. Probably not until Saturday or Sunday, they're saying, which is a good thing. We were heavily affected by Dorian 4 years ago last week. And then in 2014, we were without power for a whole week after Arthur went through. I don't think Arthur was an actual hurricane. I think it was a tropical storm. But it did quite a bit of damage here with downed trees. And like I said, we had no power for 6.5 days. And yeah, that's a bit much. With Dorian, we were without power for 2 days. I think it was just 2 days, 48 hours. But the damage to the huge trees, huge, beautiful old trees in this little community that I live in was unbelievable. I just couldn't believe what I was seeing. There's a local church camp here that, I grew up right across the street from that church camp, and I happened to drive down in there the day after the storm, and I couldn't believe what I was seeing. These huge trees that had stood at the edge of that lake for how many years? They were laying on the ground. Some damage to the buildings. Just unbelievable, the damage. And I mean, it wasn't even Category 1 hurricane at that point. So you have to wonder what would happen if we actually had one hit here that was full strength. It's the weather is changing so much, and we've had fires and floods, and this has been quite a summer so far for quite a year so far for weather. So nothing will surprise me with hurricane season this year. Anyway, we were away for the weekend. Like I said, we spent the weekend with my daughter and her husband near Halifax. They live near the city. And we had received a gift certificate for a lobster supper for Christmas this year. So we went to that lobster supper Saturday night. My husband and I and our daughter went. And it was wonderful. It was in the village or the town of Hubbards on the South Shore at the Shore Club. It's called the Shore. The place is called the Shore Club. And it was great. They started us off with a pound of mussels, and then a 1 pound lobster. We each got a 1 pound lobster. There was a large salad buffet, and it was arranged in an old dory boat. That was very cool. Rolls, tea and coffee, and dessert. 3 desserts we were able to choose from. It was really, really, really a great meal. And it was great to be together. We have a picture of us. They came around and put the little lobster bibs on each of us, and we have a picture. And I never thought to show. I'll try to put that on my Instagram. On my Instagram, if you're interested in seeing it, it'll be there. Anyway, it was great. So I guess that's it for me today. I'm calling this a Flosstube Extra. It's been a while since I've done a regular Flosstube. I probably won't get to do one this week, but possibly next week. I have that retreat for my guild next week, so I'm not sure that it'll happen, but because it's not all week. But yeah, we'll see. And I try to make it so that I can do them sometime when I know I'm going to be somewhere away from home to upload it. So anyway, thank you so much for sticking around and listening to me ramble on about my patterns. I hope you enjoyed this. It was fun to do. And like I said, if you're new, well, I don't know if I said this or not. I did once. If you're new here, please, if you like what you saw, hit my subscribe button. I'm edging up towards 2,000 followers. I think I'm 1,700 now, maybe. I'm not sure. Anyway, so yeah, I did want to do a giveaway today. I guess what I'm going to do is I will do 5 giveaways for the pattern of your choice in my cross stitch patterns from my Etsy shop. So if you saw one today that you particularly loved and you are a winner, when I draw in my next video, I will send you the PDF I will send 5 people PDFs of your choice. Oh my goodness, I hope I got that worded right. So I'm going to ask a question. I'm going to ask that you tell me what your favorite season to stitch is. Not what your favorite season to stitch in, but what do you prefer to stitch? Do you prefer to stitch Christmas? Do you prefer to stitch summer designs? Do you prefer to stitch patriotic designs, or spring, or family, all samplers, not necessarily seasonal, but what's your favorite type of stitching to do? Is it seasonal? And if so, what season? Or samplers, or whatever. Please answer that question below in the comments. Don't use the word giveaway or prize or any of those trigger words that the bots search for. You have to be over 18 because I'm going to ask you for an email address. I think that's pretty much everything I need to know for that. So the question is, I need a word so that I can search for you. Use the word stitch. Use the word stitch, STITCH, in your comment so that I can draw and search for a particular word to get a winner. So I think that's it for me today. Like I said, I'll try to get another one out in the next couple weeks. No promises, but we'll see what I can do. Thanks again so much for being here with me today. Have a great day. Bye.